I like being able to talk with others, and once I'm comfortable with you, I'm very talkative and probably a bit annoying, really. But yeah, if I know someone enough, then yeah, I can sort of shoot the shit, you know. But I do struggle with these, like, blasted group social settings, and that's just how it's always been for me. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. My name is River, and if you're new, well, I'm an artist who enjoys drawing little creatures and cartoons, and I also enjoy streaming myself doing those things and creating YouTube videos as well, as you can see. This will be my first upload of the new year, and my birthday is also in January, and well, it's kind of like a double whammy for me around this time, right? Because we just think and reflect a lot during these times, and it can be pretty sentimental for me to think about the whole, like, passage of time and how things have changed each year. So, as would be typical for the complete egomaniac that I am, I was thinking about my, like, personality traits and how I've engaged with my friends and coworkers and just the public in general, and how that has stayed pretty consistent. But also I'd like to say that there's been some character development there too. So for as long as I can remember, I've been a pretty shy and mild-mannered person, I would say. I was the youngest in my immediate family, and in my extended family for a while as well. So a lot of the time I was just trying to keep up with my older sisters. And then I'd just end up bothering them, I guess, so I'd either get, like, locked out of the room while they played, or, like, stuck in a blanket like a sack and dragged around or something. So when my sisters and cousins, who were older too, when they were playing and I wasn't really included, I would just play by myself. I remember exploring the creeks behind our house with a little stick, like collecting algae on it by spinning the stick, and it'd create this, like, massive green glob on the tip of the stick. And, you know, I think my sisters and cousins saw me do that too, and then they wanted to do it anyway. But yeah, I think in general, I always had this feeling like, well, I'm just gonna assume no one wants to play with me, so I'm just gonna do my own thing. And that eventually also turned into me doing art by myself as well. Drawing was the most perfect thing for me. As I got a little older and moved away from playing, I basically needed and seeked out time to be alone in my room where I could just keep to myself and create. I think I'll always love that about drawing. It's something I can do no matter where I'm at, and I can sort of immerse myself into my own thoughts and practice and just do something with my hands, whether I'm feeling calm or nervous. I feel like this is a really common feeling amongst a lot of us artists. I guess if I was really extroverted and liked talking to people a lot, I'd have spent more time in my life doing that instead of, like, hiding somewhere and drawing all day. I feel like for the visual arts compared to other creative arts like music and dance and stuff, it actually makes more sense for you to have more introverted personality traits anyway. I think the fact that you can be comfortable working alone and looking introspectively can be beneficial to a lot of art making, even though art can be performative, and it often is. Like, even this video is kind of like that, right? I'm showing you my whole process and everything. I just realized I never actually talked about the piece itself either, so real quick, I did this illustration to capture how I feel when I'm walking around the apartment complex where I currently live. I wanted it to have this dramatic, windy kind of manga/anime effect, but yeah, I daydream a lot while listening to music, and I just love looking at the light on the trees and buildings. And there's also a lot of cute little toads around here, and they're just so cute, I love them. I also bring my pocket sketchbook to doodle in if I'm feeling inspired, so I drew that and my pens and pencils in there too, all, like, flying around in the wind. But anyway, getting back to the lore here, I guess. I also went to public schools growing up, and the classroom setting was just not my freaking thing either, you know, surprisingly, right? I don't know, I think most people just make me nervous to begin with, and I also probably didn't have the greatest self-esteem either. However, my parents did encourage me to be pretty active in sports in middle and high school, so that did force me to socialize more and, like, be a part of teams. But I don't know if I ever really fit in that well. I just tried to at least have a friend or two that I could act weird with. I played volleyball for several years, and I played in college too, but that was just for fun. I was able to make a lot of friends through that, actually. And then I was also a coach for one of our travel teams, and in my opinion, that's a very extroverted thing to do. But I'm also just really soft-spoken on top of being a little shy, so it's really hard for me to speak over like a certain decibel level or whatever. So that job was a challenge for me for sure. But I still did it, so good job me, I guess. I do tend to be a pretty quiet person, especially around people I don't know very well, and more so especially in groups. I like being able to talk with others, and once I'm comfortable with you, I'm very talkative and probably a bit annoying, really. But yeah, if I know someone enough, then yeah, I can sort of shoot the shit, you know. But I do struggle with these, like, lasted group social settings, and that's just how it's always been for me, whether it's a friend group or a professional setting. I'm pretty sure I've had a lot of awkward, embarrassing moments with work because of my shyness. But just so I can sleep better at night, I think I just tell myself, like, people don't actually remember that well. Or they just think, like, oh, she's quiet, she must be really good at listening or really good at being, like, careful about stuff or something. But, you know, I don't know if I actually possess any of those, like, positive, quiet person traits anyway, because I'm just a little freak weirdo, and that's kind of it. I've been told I'm pretty fastidious or like persnickety about things, and sometimes I am, but to me, I never seem to be this way about the right things, if that makes sense. It's always about something that doesn't have as much significance to other people, but to me it does for whatever reason. So I feel like maybe it's all a big trick that I'm orchestrating somehow, but maybe that's just my perception and a part of being kind of particular in this way. You actually think you aren't at all. It's just a normal state of being to you. But yeah, anyway, I still often feel myself get excessively nervous, though I will say it's really not so bad as I've gotten older, if that is any consolation to any other young, shy people watching this. I honestly just got tired of overthinking my own shyness and berating myself for, well, being myself. In my late teens and early 20s, whenever I had to interact with people I didn't know very well, I would experience things like shakes and tremors, especially in my hands. I'd get tunnel vision, I'd get pits in my stomach, and I'd also like blush a lot for some reason. I'm kind of a little bit pale in general, so the blushing I felt was really obvious, and it still happens even now at work sometimes if I have to talk in front of a group, or like if something weird happens near me a little too sudden for my liking. And to be honest, I can see how it's pretty funny, but when I was younger, it also caused a lot of problems somehow. Like, if I was just talking to someone and I started to have a whole blushing episode, it was like, oh my god, they're gonna think I like them or something, when instead it was like, I am literally just so shy and you're scaring me. But as I was saying, that shyness and anxiety has improved as I've gotten older. And even when it does hit me at random times, I don't really continue to dwell on it very much. I think it happened pretty organically with the fact that I've just had exposure to more people over time through school and work. It probably also helps to consciously think about how I can just accept the fact that this is my personality. You know, I'm not hurting anyone by being a little shy and occasionally awkward and nervous. Actually, I feel like people probably like you even more for it 90% of the time anyway. It just kind of feels like this world is built for the other extroverted people or whatever when I think about careers and positions of power or leadership and that sort of thing. There are times when I worry about how being quiet and shy has actually caused me to miss unknown opportunities for work or friendships. But then I realize it's okay. It doesn't really make sense to think that way because that would just be a theoretical, completely different version of myself with theoretical opportunities that just don't exist for me here and now. So basically it's just pointless to worry about it. But that's just the kind of thinking I have at times, and maybe other people do too. I think there's some alternate universe or something where if I just did certain things right, or was a certain way, then somehow it could have all been better. I don't know how else to describe it. That's probably the best I can, at least for this video. But like with many things in life, maybe it's not all so serious after all, right? I don't need to be super outgoing or outspoken to make good connections with people. I can generally just be myself, be as polite and considerate as I can be, listen to others, be kind to others. And sometimes I can be pretty funny and charming in my own unique way too, I suppose, as we all truly are. But okay, I think this is probably a good spot to go ahead and wrap up the video. I appreciate y'all watching if you did, and I invite you, if you would like to share your experiences, if you also grew up shy as a kid, if you're still shy, if you think it has affected your art in any way or any other part of your life. I find this to be a really interesting topic of conversation, so maybe you guys would too. Alright, that's it. I'm sure I'll talk to you guys again in the next video. Until then, bye.